Well, welcome to another edition of Win TV. I'm thrilled to have you joining us today. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you picked up a copy of this week's Washington Informer, which I have someplace close to me. I always like, sorry, I had to jump out, but I always like to show you the print edition, which is right here. And I got it. Thank you so much, Chevy. So, yes, I always like you to know that we've published another copy of the Washington Informer, and it's on newsstands in somewhere near you. If you are in the DMV and DC, Maryland, Prince George's County, Montgomery County, Northern Virginia, we have over 600 in some locations. So we hope that you will pick up a copy of the Washington Informer. And you can always read the digital edition online at washingtoninformer.com. And while you're there, we would ask you, because a little message is going to pop up and ask you to join us as a subscriber. Doesn't cost you anything. Just need to be able to send you a copy of paper every week. So please go ahead and fill that out for us. We definitely appreciate it. It certainly does help us with the bottom line. And for those of you all who are on social media, and I hope that I know some are moving off, but for those of you all who are on social media and continue to use it, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And as a matter of fact, in all of those, not only do we ask you to follow us, but when you go to YouTube, we ask you to sign up there as well. We're going to give a shout out to those who have actually joined us in the last upcoming weeks, because we're trying to get a YouTube subscriber number of about 1,000. We're not quite there yet, although a lot of folks are watching, but we certainly would love to have you as a part of the Washington Informer family. So go ahead and visit us at Washington Informer TV. No spaces, straight Washington Informer TV, all one word. So today we're going to have a pretty great show, I think. Today we'll be talking to Rachel Rentelman, who is the legal director of systemic advocacy and law reform at Legal Aid DC, and she's going to share some tips for those who are seeking legal assistance. And I'm sure that there are a lot of folks who are out there who would love to hear what she has to say and how to access the services. We're also going to speak with Nicole Jean-Lise White of Wealthmore, who is here to discuss with us a new app her company has created to help us unlock our financial potential. Brian Hester, Vice President of AYS Sports Marketing, is joining us to talk about an upcoming culinary event next week ahead of the City Open. It's called the City Taste of Tennis, showcasing some of the best chefs in the DMV. And we're going to talk with Kimberly Gaines, Executive Director of the East of the River Steelband, who is here to talk about the celebration of the band's 30th anniversary. So we hope these diverse topics will expand your legal knowledge, wealth, culinary prowess, and musical horizons. But let's talk about what's happened this week. Last Saturday, Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr. stepped down as president of the Rainbow Push Coalition, but he is leading the organization as Reverend Freddie Haynes, pastor of Friendship West Baptist Church in Dallas, Texas, was named the new president of Rainbow Push Coalition. And Reverend Haynes is no stranger to Washington, D.C. He's a featured speaker at Howard University's Crampton Auditorium every year. So we hope to be speaking with him soon on WIN TV. And reporter Hamil Harris actually interviewed him yesterday out at the D.C. Black Chambers Conference held here at the Waldorf Astoria. And his story will be published online and in next week's issue of the Washington Informer. Many of our viewers may not be watching the show right now because they're out at FedEx Field celebrating the sale of the Washington Commanders to a group led by Josh Harris and co-owner Magic Johnson. We are there at FedEx Field too with our reporter and photographer, and we'll share how elated Washingtonians are about the future of the Washington Commanders. So you can keep up with that story at WashingtonInformer.com. And lastly, this morning, we were sad to learn about the recent death of Anthony Dominique Benedetta. I hope I said that right. But even if I didn't, we know him as Tony Bennett, affectionately know him as Tony Bennett, an American singer who many of us grew up with, loved his songs, actually could probably sing a lot of his songs, and loved to see him pairing up with different other singers, not only, well, including Black performers. And so, Tony Bennett has stood the test of time. We're going to miss him, but his music will live on forever. He was 96 years old. So let's see what else is happening in the news as we hand the show over to Curtis Knowles.
This is Win TV News, bringing you the news that matters. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser announced Pamela A. Smith as the Metropolitan Police Department's next chief of police on Monday, July 17th. Smith will serve in the capacity of acting chief until confirmed by the D.C. Council. Previously, Smith had served as the chief of police for the U.S. Park Police and worked in its field offices in San Francisco, New York, Atlanta, and the district during her 25-year career. And she was the first Black woman to lead the Park Police in its 230-year history. D.C. Councilmember Brooke Pinto commented saying, quote, Acting Chief Smith brings to this nomination a wide breadth of experience from a diversity of jurisdictions across the country, as well as an intimate knowledge of our city. A piece of Maryland and Black history is teetering on the edge of foreclosure, a home in Harford County, Maryland that holds major significance. Once a refuge for the Freedom Riders, a group of activists who challenge segregation on buses and at bus terminals, the historical dwelling currently serves as the residence of prominent civil rights leader Janice Grant. Grant, the former Harford County NAACP chapter president, helped pave the way for African Americans to exercise their right to vote in the states. Sadly, her historic and cherished abode, encapsulating decades of rich history, may soon slip away if she can't raise $50,000 by the end of July. As of the latest update to the community-led GoFundMe, there has been $16,000 raised towards a needed $50,000. Grant commented saying, quote, I want young people to know their history because it is such a rich history and it would be such a loss if the house was to be foreclosed. Checkpoint Technologies, one of the largest cybersecurity firms in the country, has reported a substantial increase in AI-based scams and attacks compared to the previous year. According to the FBI Internet Complaint Center, phone and cyber scams drained approximately $10 billion from American pockets in 2022. Rapid advancements in generative AI technology by companies like OpenAI and Midjourney have forced organizations to grapple with how to harness the potential of the technology while addressing concerns about the ease with which users can manipulate language, audio, and video.
Thank you, Curtis. With everything, with every tool, everything out there, there's a good and there's a bad use. And this AI has all trying to figure out, how this is going to impact our lives and how we will be able to use it positively and in a positive way to impact the businesses that we're doing and everything else. But yeah, there are always going to be those folks out there that want to use it for devilish reasons. So we're going to be talking a lot more about that as time goes on, because we know a lot of businesses and other groups are beginning to kind of tap into AI. It is a useful tool when used correctly. So we want you all to know a little bit more as we learn more about AI and its impact on the Black community. But moving on, I am excited to talk to Rachel Rentman, the legal director of systemic advocacy and law reform at Legal Aid DC. Rachel, welcome to Win TV.
Hi, Denise. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So, what you do goes in so many directions, and so many people are in need of legal services, and a lot of people may not be that aware of the Legal Aid DC. So tell us a little bit about your role and what the organization's all about.
Yeah, happy to do that. So Legal Aid is the district's largest civil legal services provider. We provide free legal representation to individuals in the district, generally folks who are up to about 200% of the federal poverty guidelines, although sometimes we can assist folks who are slightly higher than that. We help them in a variety of areas. So we provide assistance with family law and domestic violence cases, with housing law, including eviction cases, affordable housing preservation, and subsidy-related cases. We also assist with public benefits, which covers both federal benefits and local benefits, including things like food stamps or SNAP. And we also provide representation in consumer law cases, so debt collection cases, foreclosure cases for DC homeowners. And we also have some kind of overlap between those where we provide assistance to folks who have immigration issues that, have civil legal services implications as well. And we also provide some resources and representation to folks with criminal record sealing matters and other collateral consequences of interactions with the criminal legal system. So we do provide a range of civil legal services, and that's really just sort of the quick overview, but within each of those practice areas, we do provide additional assistance. And so my role within Legal Aid is as our legal director of systemic advocacy and law reform. So we have everything I just described is what we consider our direct legal services program. So those are, individual representation for folks who come to us with an acute legal need. They need assistance with a particular case or a particular legal issue, and we can provide assistance to, a lot of people who get to us for help. The systemic advocacy and law reform program, though, takes sort of a slightly different and complementary approach to the work that we do. So if you kind of view the direct legal services almost as like emergency room care, people come to us when they're in crisis, when something's gone wrong and they need help. And we try to view the systemic work as being kind of, preventative care, right? So we look at all of the legal issues that prompt our clients to come to us in the first place, and we see what we can do to sort of change the law, to change the systems, and to make it less likely that people have to come to us for help in the first place.
Well, that certainly is a great way, I think, to look at your work, because we're all talking, it's like going to the doctor. If you can kind of prevent things from happening, then you have less doctor visits, and it makes you a better sort of living situation. So the same thing, I like the idea with the systemic advocacy. And for some of the areas that you all have looked at, could you define what they are?
Yeah, absolutely. We focus on systemic advocacy in each of our regular standard direct legal services practice areas. So we're looking at big picture things like housing, consumer rights, public benefits is a big one that we've looked at a great deal. Some of the work we have done, and I should step back and say the systemic program includes policy advocacy, primarily before the DC Council and agencies. It includes appellate advocacy. So we look not only at cases that we take to the DC Court of Appeals, but also we look at every single case that's filed before the DC Court of Appeals to see if we think that they might have implications for our client community. And if so, we try to become involved in those cases. We also engage in impact litigation, so affirmative litigation, and a lot of that ends up being against district agencies. Some recent examples of that have been, the unemployment insurance system, which we discovered during COVID really does not function the way it needs to. A lot of folks who are eligible for benefits were not getting them. And so we have used some of our tools and resources to really try to challenge and to fix some of those programs. Same thing with, food stamps and other programs where we've historically challenged the Trump administration in some of the additional requirements that they tried to impose on recipients of federal benefits. And so those are a few examples of the things that we do. The other piece of our systemic advocacy program that we're really building out that's critically important is our community engagement work. So we want to make sure that all of our systemic advocacy, as well as our direct legal representation, is informed by the affected community. And so we don't want to be kind of sitting back and saying, well, this is what we think people need, and this is how we think they should get it. We really want to hear it from people themselves, right? So we want to hear about what the challenges are that they are facing in their communities.
How do you go about that, Rachel? How do you all go out and do that public engagement? How does that happen?
So that's a great question. A big part of it is just about trying to be in the community where many of our clients live, and allowing there to be sort of open and organic lines of communication. We just reopened, I think our Big Chair office in Anacostia, which had historically been an intake site where we staffed only a couple of days a week before the pandemic. And of course, like everything else, it shut down in March of 2020. But we've really been wanting to get back out there into that office and to increase our presence there. Right now, we're only open 2 days a week, but we're hoping to expand that. And what we really find is folks just walk through the door with all kinds of questions, ideas, thoughts, concerns. And that really does help us in turn inform our work and the areas of systemic advocacy. We also, our community lawyering program also partners with community-based organizations, libraries, community centers, other community groups, tenant associations. Whoever wants to host us, we're happy to go and sit down and do a Know Your Rights training, or do an intake clinic, or just talk to folks and hear what it is that their primary concerns are. We really do want to kind of pivot away from that sort of tendency that lawyers can sometimes have to assume that they know what's best, and to really let other folks tell us what they need, and then we figure out how to use the law as a tool to achieve it.
Where else are you all located? So you said the Big Chair. If you don't mind giving us that address where you're located, but also where else are you located in the district?
Yeah, so we are in the Anacostia Professional Building. It's 2041 Martin Luther King in Anacostia, and we're on the second floor, right across from the elevator. We're there currently on Mondays and Thursdays, but like I said, hopefully we'll be expanding those hours. Our main office is in Northwest at 1331 H Street, Suite 350. That's kind of where the bulk of our attorneys are located. But we also have court-based programs in a number of the courts. We have and it's hard to list it all off, and I encourage folks to visit our website. But we do have access to like domestic violence intake centers, both in Southeast and in Northwest. We have court-based projects in the housing court, landlord-tenant court, and elsewhere. So we really do try to be where our clients are and where they need us the most.
I want to go back because I want you to sort of reiterate what the requirements are for people who want to access your services. Is there, do you have to be a DC resident? Do you have to have be below a certain income level? Do you have to be above a certain age?
Yeah, those are great questions. So in general, we serve DC residents, but we also serve folks with DC legal matters. So if you're in Maryland or Virginia, but you have a custody case that's in DC, that's the kind of thing we might be able to look at. We generally serve folks who are at or below the 200% of the federal poverty guidelines. Although, like I said, in some of our programs, we can actually serve folks who are a little bit higher. So if you think you're above those income guidelines, you should feel free to come in and chat with us, and we can let you know for certain whether you are eligible or not. And that works out to be for folks about $60,000 for a household of 4 in annual income. But again, we do have a little bit of flexibility there. So if you're close to that, I want to encourage folks to come in and talk to us. There's no age limitation generally because of the legal issues where we're providing representation. It's usually not folks who are under the age of 18, but occasionally there may be cases. And then, of course, there's no upper limit. We encourage folks of any age to come to us for legal assistance.
So if you, and I'm sure you all do, because that's one of the reasons why you do this community engagement and have come up with this systemic advocacy, but what might be the top 3 issues that folks walk in the door with, you find most common among district residents? And I guess it's a way of saying if you happen to be in that category, the door is open as well, although you've probably addressed, as you said, a lot of other issues. But what are those top 3?
Yeah, so I will say, and a lot of this, the pandemic has had a huge impact on this, right? So we had folks who, even before the pandemic, were having a lot of trouble making ends meet. And of course, the last 3 years have only made things more challenging. Food costs are up, 10%. We have a historically high rent increase this year. It's the highest in the history of the rent control program in the district. And then, of course, we have all these, assistance programs that came out of the federal government and the DC government for COVID relief, which have now expired and are no longer available to folks. So we are seeing an increase in the number of people who are coming into us, about 20% uptick. I think, unfortunately, domestic violence is an area that I think was exacerbated and much worse during the pandemic. And we still see a steady, set of applicants for civil protection orders who we can assist with same day representation to get a civil protection order. We also are seeing a lot of eviction cases. There's a really high number of evictions, which have gone up, just significantly, again, because folks can't afford the rent, and because, there have been serious financial implications for folks' stability in the last few years. And then we also do see folks coming in with a wide range of public benefits related matters, and, people who've had benefits cut off and they don't know why, or who, have applied and have had trouble getting benefits in the first place. Or just having sort of system glitches. We're seeing a lot of that where, they're not getting benefits that they're legally entitled to because of a system glitch at the Department of Human Services. So those are the kinds of things that we see a lot of folks with. And if you're having those issues, we encourage you to come in and talk to us and see if we can provide you assistance.
How are you all funded?
So we're funded a variety of ways. We do get a lot of grant funding through access to justice funds and through other DC government funding, which is great and much appreciated. We also get a lot of private funding. We have a lot of, law firm donors and other private donors who really do help us. It's in fact, in part because of that private funding that we're able to provide representation even to folks who don't quite meet our guidelines if they have an acute legal need that they need support with. So we do have a range of different funding resources, and we're eternally grateful, right? We really rely on folks making donations to legal aid to keep the lights on and to keep us, able to represent all of these folks when they come to us for assistance.
And are you all licensed lawyers? Are you law students? How does the program operate with regards to staffing?
Yeah, so we are just under 100 staff at Legal Aid. We have a lot of attorneys. That is, of course, we are primarily a law firm. We primarily provide legal representation. We also have incredible non-attorney staff who provide support to our work in a variety of ways. We have legal assistants, we have investigators, we have inspectors, we have public benefits specialists who can assist folks with applications, things like that. So we do have kind of a very broad team of folks with lots of skill sets. We also have interns. We have undergraduate interns who help with our intake program. We have law student interns who support with all of our programs as well. And then, of course, we have, an incredible operations and administrative team as well.
Well, it's good to know that you all are there. I know we sort of took an aerial view of what Legal Aid does. I think we got into a little bit of some of the deeper issues, but, just the fact that you are there, the fact that and you're back in Ward 8, which is, I think, a community that, like you said, needs your services. You want to spend more time having your doors open over here. I'm sure that there's a great need. So I just want to thank you for being with us and sharing a little bit about what you all do there at Legal Aid. We're going to put up the information again one more time so that folks know how to reach out. And before we close, is there anything last minute or quick things you wanted to say before we signed off?
Yeah, again, I just want to thank you for having me today. I want to encourage folks to come to us if you have any legal issues that, fall within those practice areas. I also want to encourage you, if you are a member of a community-based organization and would like to partner with us on Know Your Rights trainings or on outreach events or intake events, please reach out to us. I'm going to give the name of our project coordinator, which is Daniela Bravo. Her email is dbravo, BRAVO, @legalaidDC.org. And if you want to reach out to her, or you can find our information through the website, we're really eager to partner with groups that are in the community and to make ourselves as accessible as possible to folks. So would welcome any outreach that gives us an opportunity to do that.
Wonderful. Well, you count on us. We'll help.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right, Rachel, thank you so much for being with us today.
Of course. Thank you.
All righty. We're going to move on now to talk with Mikal Jean-Lise White of Wealthmore. We want to talk to you about this app that you've created. Welcome to Win TV.
Thank you, Denise. Thanks for having me.
Tell me, make sure I said it right. Jean-Lise
White.
White. Okay. All right. Just want to make sure I got that right. So thanks for coming. So tell us, what is Wealthmore all about?
Well, we're solving a pretty basic problem. We want to make access to expert financial advice available to everyone. And we wanted to also create a community around it so that we could address some of the issues around wealth creation, wealth retention, getting great financial advice. And frankly, I just want to see more people like me and more people who didn't grow up talking about investing. I want to see them investing.
Yeah, it's it's interesting because I hear more people saying they want to learn about investing, but they don't always know where to go to get that information. Or if they're reading information, which we all now go online and we Google things, but there's no one actually on the other side to sort of explain what it is. And then I want to ask you this question. It's like you get the information. It's like double dutch. How do you know when to jump in?
so agree with you, right? Like, you know, I feel like finance is one of the only places where we want you to be both the patient and the doctor, and it's just not right. And what we've done at Wealth More is allowed you to be the person who wants to grow your finance and let our certified financial planners help you. So we took investment portfolios and we put an advisor against it. So when you invest in that portfolio, that advisor is telling you exactly what's going on with your money. How is inflation impacting it? How is the global markets impacting it? You shouldn't have to do that homework. Let us do it. But then we took it a step further and made it on demand. So if you have a question about home buying, college planning, insurance, protection, right in our app, you can speak to one of our advisors and pose those questions and get those answers right away. I think one of the biggest problems is we've sort of told people to Google, and those answers are not specific to your unique situation.
No, I just, you know, it's. I wish we had an image of the app. I'm sorry we didn't pull that together so folks would know what it looks like and how to download it. But I'm sure it's very easy to do. But what is the entree like? I mean, when you first get into the app, what do you have to do to
Got it.
get engaged?
I would encourage everyone to go to wealthmore.net, pre-register today. We go live in August.
Okay.
But as soon as you download the app, you would be presented with our onboarding coach, and you would answer a few questions about how you invest, how you think about investing, and what your top 3 financial planning goals are. And from there, we give you some recommendations for portfolios. But then you're also immediately seeing who your financial advisory team is, and you can start working with them directly. It's that easy.
Mikhail, what is your background, and how is it that you got so invested in this?
Got it. Well, it's not by accident. I'm a former Wall Street executive. Spent most of my career on Wall Street looking at, people and their money, particularly on the credit side and the borrowing side. And frankly, I just got frustrated hearing all these statistics about the wealth gap, Black people, women, everyone has a wealth gap. And I'm just not the kind of person who likes to admire a problem. I like to get to work and try to fix it. And with technology, we can do that. And here we are now with an app ready to go live to bring customers on. And then we also created a community experience around it. I'm a first generation American. One of the communities you can join on Wealth More is First Gen Wealth. We just wanted to make it easy, accessible, and human.
Well, I say ditto to you because, I've been in this news business for a few years. And, it's interesting how every year some investment company or bank or whatever, it continues to happen. We get these press releases and these stories about what Black folks aren't doing with their money.
Yeah.
And, and the question always is, well, we know that, right? So what is your job? And now you've come up with an app. It's being proactive to say, look, these are options. And this is something we need to think about. So when we talk about entering into this wealth building arena, what kind of money do folks need to have?
Yeah,
because we don't have the incomes either.
Yeah, Denise, I want to touch upon this because I think it's super important. We need to stop shaming people, and that's probably one of my biggest pet peeves, right? When people say, "Oh, the wealth gap. Why aren't Black people? Why aren't Latinos? Why aren't women making more?" Well, frankly, as a Black woman, I made 67 cents to the dollar. It's kind of hard to close the wealth gap when you're not getting paid as much.
Right.
I think we need to stop doing that shame game, the blame game. We know all of the issues around generational wealth building, and we sort of put those things aside and talk to our users as the humans that they are who are looking to build wealth, and let's meet them where they are and let's focus on the future. So you can start investing with us, which is with as little as $1,000 in our Invest Plus plan. We get you started. And then we have plans with our Premium Advice and our Premium Advice Plus plan for those who may have more assets that they're ready to start investing.
You gave us a little bit earlier, Mikhail, the place where we can go and sign up. Can you share that with us again? Because we want to put that on the screen.
Absolutely. Please pre-register at wealthmore.net, and also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Wealth More for All. You know, we stand by this. Wealth is for us all. And we want to change the way the world sees investors to include us all.
And at times like this, I know the business community is hearing a lot of this, that, you know, the money that's been circulating so much over the last couple of years now is beginning to slow down because people don't know what the economy is going to look like in 2024. So is that the kind of information folks can get from the site, the app as well? I mean, sort of information on how what public policy or other issues are impacting investing.
Denise is absolutely right. You know, we live in a macro economy, so we post things about how inflation will impact your money. We posted things for people to think about the student loan relief and how that will impact. You know, these are all things that impact your day-to-day financials, but it also impacts your long-term view. But we also want people to habituate investing. Right? Just like if you're going to the doctor once a year, we want you investing on a monthly basis. We want you to take it out as soon as possible and keep that habit going, because investing is a long-term journey. And when the markets are in turmoil, it's also opportunities for people to get in at lower price points and see more valuation appreciation over time.
So you invest money, right? When do you get a return on that investment? How long does it take for people to really see the benefit of the investments that they've made?
So if any investment professional promises you a return, you should run. No one has a crystal ball.
Right.
So if anyone is promising you, I can get you a 30% return, you should run, because no one can sort of look into the future. But what we do know is the historical performance of the market. And historically, those returns have been anywhere in the 8 to 10%. And so that's what we look at to sort of guide us around. Here are some really good performance targets to try to aim for. But if anyone is telling you I have a guaranteed return for you, don't walk, run.
All right. That's probably the best advice we've heard all day, which is great. So this is a wonderful, I think, project that you've, I don't want to call it project, but opportunity that you're creating for the community. And once people sign up or register, will they still have access to somebody they can talk to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That to me, so when I think about people who are sort of, you know, the ultra rich, they have what is known as a family office. They have a group of people that help them with their money. It's not an accident that they're getting richer and they're growing more wealth. The advice makes a difference. And what we strive to do is to make sure that advice is always readily available, so that people don't make those known mistakes, like not having enough insurance, not having an estate plan, and having the wealth that they create end up in probate courts. Those are the things we want to do to prevent and ensure that you are building, but safeguarding.
Wonderful. Well, Mikal, I want to thank you so much. Our shows are so short and there's so many questions. You know, we want people to put them in the chat if they have them. We certainly will direct them to you, and you know, keep the lines of communications open. I look forward to reading more and seeing more about the launch in August. And but you want folks to register now, which makes a whole lot of sense. Let's get ahead of this game. And thank you that you came here to share it with us.
Thank you for having me, Denise. And I hope all your viewers will join us on this journey. Wealth is for us all.
Wonderful. Yes, it is. All righty, Mikal. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
All right. Have a great day. We're going to bring on now Brian Hester, who is the Vice President of AYS Sports. And we're going to look at this quick video and then get into a conversation about our City Open taste of tennis. Wow, that looks like a lot of fun. Brian Hester, Vice President, AYS Sports and Marketing. Tell me what I was just looking at. I mean, I'm thinking, City Open tennis. It's going to be at the Fitzgerald Tennis Center right here in Rock Creek Park. And I'm thinking I'm just going to be sitting out there watching people play games, but there's food.
Well, absolutely. I know that was a lot to digest, Denise. So I'll try and take you through it a little bit there. What you were checking out. So my company is AYS Sports Marketing, and we own and operate the City Taste of Tennis. Citibank is our title sponsor. And we actually host the event around the world, as you could probably see from that video. So we host it in North America, out in Indian Wells, California, in Miami, in New York, around the US Open. And of course, we are super excited to be coming to DC to kick off the Mubadala City DC Open on next Sunday night, July 30th. It takes place from 7 to 10 p.m. at La Vie on the Wharf. So we're expecting around 300 people to come out. We are the official player party of the tournament. So that means we're going to have a great player turnout. So it's an opportunity for attendees to taste some of DC's finest cuisine and actually rub elbows with tennis players who are in town for the tournament. So,
well, I'm certainly glad you told me that, because I would have had folks running up to the Fitzgerald Center, but no, it's down at the Wharf, which is another wonderful place to be now in DC. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out, which makes sense, but the collaboration or the merger between a tennis tournament and food.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, we kind of put that together. It was interesting. We're based in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. We've been doing this for a very long time. So in 1999, the local tennis tournament asked us to come up with a fun event concept to kick off the tournament. So we sat around and we said, what makes tennis so interesting? Well, it's very international. I mean, there's just so many cultures that come together, at tennis tournaments. And, what else is international? Well, food. Food is obviously very international and, just so unique to so many different cultures. And we just started bouncing ideas around. Okay, taste, food, tennis, taste of tennis. That's kind of how it happens. So basically in each city, we bring out top local chefs because we really want to give people a flavor for the city we're in. Obviously, DC, the foodie scene has really exploded over the past couple of years. And we're excited to showcase, just a little bit of everything. We have a really unique lineup of chefs. We also have sponsors. The Barbados Tourism Board is going to be bringing in a chef and a mixologist to really give people authentic Bajan cuisine and rum, of course. The St. Lucia Tourist Board will also be at the event. We'll be having Chef Sean Benjamin will be serving his world famous oxtail grilled cheese, which is which I have actually had, and it is spectacular.
Yeah. So, and then when you think about Washington, we said what's international. DC is definitely international.
Exactly.
And I just had the pleasure of attending the Rammies here, which was the organization that
of course
acknowledges all the or gives awards to the top restaurants in DC. And so I know it's going to be
expand on that. Not to interrupt you, I'm sorry.
No problem.
So speaking of the Rammies, the DC Chef of the Year, Kevin Tien, is our headline chef. Okay. So he's actually going to be in the house preparing cuisine for everyone in attendance. And again, really showcasing the international flavors that are alive and well in DC. We have, Indian cuisine. We have Filipino cuisine. I'm especially excited to check out Chef Keem Hewley from Bronze. I don't know if you follow Keem, but he's actually I think Common just ate at his restaurant and gave him a huge shout out on Instagram. And Keem fashions himself as Afrofuturistic utopia. That's how he describes his cuisine.
Okay,
so, I'm interested to get in on that utopia a little bit.
No, I mean it sounds. I'm getting hungry, to be honest with you. It's lunch. It's past 12 o'clock, and I'm like, you're talking about rum and food, and all of that is just fantastic. So it's on July 30th?
That's right. July 30th from 7 to 10 p.m. at La Vie on the
And
water.
can people purchase tickets? How can people attend?
We do. So I mentioned that we're expecting about 300 guests. We still do have tickets available. They can go to our website at tasteoftennis.com. And, certainly we invite people to follow us on Instagram, also Taste of Tennis. So, yeah, it's a great way to just see what's happening and catch up with all the hot DC chefs and tennis stars in town for the tournament.
So you have tennis, you have food. The next question is fashion. How should one come if they want to attend and be fashionably appropriate?
It's across the board, Denise. We like to call it upscale casual. So we kind of keep it a little, there's a little room for movement there. But, however.
One could still wear their tennis shoes.
Sure, absolutely. We've managed the event. So after we created the event in Philadelphia, we brought it to New York in 2000. So we've run the event every year since then with a brief hiatus for COVID. So we've run this thing around the world, over 50 times in cities as far away as Melbourne, Australia. And
wow.
We've never thrown anyone out for not being dressed appropriately.
Right,
so
just come with an appetite.
Make your statement and enjoy the event.
All right, wonderful. Well, this is really exciting. I'm glad that you came to share this with us because we have a lot of tennis fans here in DC, but we also have a lot of foodies, and folks love to go places where there's good international food, and it looks like you're going to provide that opportunity.
I think that's the cool thing about the event too, Denise. Where else can you come and sample cuisine? And you can go to each station. It's a walk around food tasting. Mm-hmm. So you can go to each station as many times as you want. So you can taste cuisine from over a dozen of DC's top chefs. And like I said, enjoy great live entertainment, rub elbows with professional tennis players. It's really a unique experience.
Can you give us a sneak preview of who some of the players are expected to be there?
Yeah, so our headline player is Jessie Pegula. She's currently the number 3 player in the world. But we literally expect dozens of players to attend because we've been doing it for so long. The players know it's a fun night out. They get to walk our blue carpet. We don't have a red carpet because Citibank is our sponsor. So they walk the blue carpet. And, there's media in attendance. It's a great Instagrammable moment. And they all know it's a great party. Again, great entertainment, the best food DC has to offer. Just a really wonderful atmosphere.
Well, Brian, I want to thank you for sharing this with us. And we want to make sure that we'll be there to capture some of those photos to document, the community that showed up and showed out. Chevy saying, yeah.
Well, you tell Chevy, you and her both have an invitation from me to join us. So we hope you'll see you next Sunday night.
Yeah, I'll be out of town, unfortunately, but anyway, we'll follow up with you on that. Just to let folks know that you were here. And to see some of I noticed even in the video, I saw some actors faces that I recognize. So it's not just tennis stars. It's not just media or community. At our
event, Mike Tyson's been to our event. Obviously, the Williams sisters have been to our event. Sloane Stevens, Omar Benson Miller from The Wire and Ballers has been to our event. So it really is it's kind of a who's who of tennis and food and celebrities as well.
Yeah. I'm so happy that our city has come back alive and that there's so much that's happening. I mean, COVID really had an impact on the world, but we know it had that impact here on DC. But be able to come back and have these fun events and people can connect and they can still wear their masks if they want to, except it's hard to get some of that great food through a mask, but.
Exactly. And we're excited to be back. We did have a little hiatus due to COVID, But this will be our 4th year in DC. And like I said, every year gets bigger and better, and the food gets bigger and better because the chefs are very competitive and they want to outdo each other. So it really is if you like food, we're the place to be next Sunday night.
Well, have a great time. I know it's going to be a successful event. We look forward to you coming back to see us next year as we plan, because evidently this is going to be an annual event. We don't want folks to miss it this year, but we certainly do want you to come back next year and tell us where we're going to be and who the chefs are going to be.
That's the plan.
All righty. Thanks so much, Brian.
Right. Thanks so much for having me, Denise.
All righty. Take care.
Okay, take care now. Bye-bye.
All righty. Bye-bye. So last but not least, boy, that sounds like a lot of fun. It's a lot going on. You know, I forgot to mention, I remember last week we had someone on to talk about the big event at the convention center that's going on right now, which starts tonight, Ubiquitous, the big event for women at the convention center. So we want, if you go, send us some photos, Instagram, share all that stuff with us, because we want to know that you were there. We're going to try to get down there ourselves. So it's a time to get out, network, and also to support our community. That's why I'm excited to have Kimberly Gaines with us, who is the executive director of East of the River Steelband, an iconic group of young musicians that have entertained people throughout the DMV for 30 years. For 30 years. We're going to talk about the anniversary and so much more. But let's watch this video. Wow. You know, I love them. I had to say it 3 times. I love them, Kimberly. Welcome to Win TV.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Wow. This is, like I said, one of the really wonderful, I think, bands right from out here in Southeast, correct?
Northeast and Southeast, yeah.
Northeast and
7
Southeast,
and 8.
right. Yeah, that is wonderful. And now you're the executive director?
I am.
How did you fall into this role?
So just being blessed. I'm fortunate to live in Ward 7, and I was presented the opportunity. I've always been a lover of the arts, lover of live music and culture, and kind of when it was presented to me, it was a no-brainer because I was also working with young people at the time. Our mission is music education, youth development, and cultural experiences for young people living east of the Anacostia River.
So tell us a little bit more about the history of the Steelband and how it, evolved over the last 30 years.
So we were founded in 1993 by the late Dr. Gladys Whitworth Bray. She went to Trinidad and Tobago and saw Steelband and saw how youthful it was, and decided that this was something that our young people should experience, a unique experience for them in DC in Ward 7 and Ward 8. At the time, there weren't a lot of arts enrichment programs. And so she was an educator. And so it was a no-brainer for her to do something related to the music that she experienced and youth development and culture. So
what would you describe as sort of the greatest achievement of the Steelband? I mean, you recruit mostly, let's go back a little bit before we do that, but how do young people get involved in the Steelband?
So our organization right now is truly word of mouth. We have young people from Ward 7, Ward 8, some from Ward 5 and Ward 6, some family members. Our band drummer, her grandson plays in the band. We have cousins, uncles, aunts. We have everybody that comes together, recruitment wise. But when we think about it, we are a very familial organization. So some of our alumni have their young people, their children are now in the band. And we reach out to the community, our surrounding community, and then the families that have participated in the band prior to. So,
are there like age requirements? Do you have to be, above or below a certain age to be a member of the band?
So right now we accept 12. We start at 12, and we go up to about 18. But we are getting more interest from our younger generation. So for our summer program, currently we do have a couple of 10-year-olds, and we're looking to expand our program so that we can accommodate younger kids as well.
Well, Kimberly, the instrument that I play is called the radio. So, but I wonder, do you all teach? That's where the kids have to have sort of an interest in being a part of the band, but they may come in not knowing anything about how to play these steel drums. So is that something you all do?
Yes.
That's part of the training?
That is definitely part of the training. So our musical director, Roger Greenwich, is Trinidadian, and he teaches in that traditional Trinidadian way, which is by rote memorization. So most of the songs that our young people learn are from memory. They have about 30 or so songs memorized right now. And many of them don't come in with experience in steel pan because it's such a unique instrument. And while its roots are in Trinidad, many of our kids are just African American. We do have some who are Trinidadian as well, so they are culturally familiar with the steel pan. But for our young people in Ward 7 and Ward 8, they don't have that connection to the steel pan until they get into our program.
And you all perform. I mean, you performed all over the place. I'll go back to that achievement question. You talk about some of the places where you have performed and people you performed for over the years.
We've done the Kennedy Center. We've done the National Cherry Blossom Festival. We have been at the Apollo, the Embassy of Trinidad and Tobago, of course. We've actually performed for the National Association for Music Educators. So we get around a little bit. Typically, we have about 2 or 3 performances a month. Summer is our peak because everybody, it's such a festive instrument, and the songs that we play are more festive for summertime jams, if you will. And yeah, so we've done. We haven't performed in Trinidad, but we have played around in Trinidad on some pan yards. We were fortunate to take young people and their parents to Trinidad last summer.
Nice.
And we have a cultural trip every year that we take where we experience the culture of the place that we visit, and then also try to impart some of the culture of steel pan as well.
Do you play?
I do not yet. Not yet. I'm so busy doing admin work and all that, and making sure that we have gigs and doing all those things, that I haven't really set my mind to focus on playing yet.
It's okay. We can just listen to the radio together.
I am getting closer.
Right. Wonderful.
Try to teach me so.
So it's just hard to believe that the band is now in its 30th year. What will you all do to celebrate? I see that we have something here. And so can you tell us about the 30th anniversary celebration?
So FET 30 is our gala reception that is coming up in September on the 23rd. We will be honoring some of our community members, including the Honorable Anthony Philip Spencer, the ambassador to the Embassy of Trinidad, who has been an amazing help to our organization. Reggie Van Lee, chairman of the DC Commission on the Arts and Humanities. Roger Greenwich, our own musical director, who has been with us over 25 years. And then also a community champion, Matthew Shannon, who's an attorney in the district, who's also contributed a lot to our organization. And there'll be music, there'll be plenty of good food. There's going to be a 360-degree camera, which I'm really excited about because I want to see those pictures.
Yes.
And it's happening at the UDC Theater of the Arts on campus at UDC.
So people are interested in buying tickets, and we know, your funding. I mean, what's probably the other thing to administrative work. You probably spend a lot of time trying to raise money to support the group and the young people that are participating. How can folks get tickets, and how much are they again?
So you can go to our website at www.eor, what's on the screen, Steelband.org. And the top banner, you can click on that banner to go directly to the page to purchase tickets. Tickets are $200. And like I said, there'll be food, entertainment, maybe some celebrity guests, or at least some celebrity appearances, and just a good time. The young people, they're excellent at playing, and they have fun doing it, which is what's important. And we want to keep providing the service to young people in our community, and expanding our organization so more young people can experience it.
That was my question about your goals, and that's what you're saying, expanding the program. Because it seems as though once young folks see it, and we're all talking right now about what we can do to get young people involved in programs that will keep them in safe and learning environments, and this happens to be one. So so they can go there and buy tickets, but they can also donate to the organization, right?
Yes. We are looking for sponsors for the gala as well. Fortunately, we currently have MSNBC, and sorry, I had a list of people I was supposed to mention.
So got to mention those sponsors.
Let me mention the sponsors.
Right.
Richard Hamilton, Biles and Laura Blake, Norbert Pinkett, Awash, and a host of others that
wonderful.
Really supporting us in the band as well as the gala.
So. Wonderful. Well, I really wish you the best of luck, and I wish you a very successful event. I know that we'll be seeing the steel bands around the city always, and so just good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Stay strong, because you got a lot of work and a lot of young people counting on you.
I do, and I'm ready for it. And I hope to see you. You do have an invitation as well to come and attend the event. We would love to have you.
Well, I would love to be there. So I'm going to try to make sure I can put that on the calendar, and you all keeping me busy. I love it. So. Exactly. Thank you, Kimberly, for being with us today. All righty. Bye-bye. Well, that brings us to the end of another broadcast. We had a packed show. Thank you, Chevy Lassiter, our producer, for pulling this together. And we will be back with you next week with another program. Again, if you have some thoughts or ideas, some recommendations on folks that we can bring on to Win TV, we're trying to connect you with the community and connect them with folks who want to participate in those programs. So we look forward to hearing from you at news@washingtoninformer.com. Yeah, again, just check us out at news@washingtoninformer.com. We're still trying to come up with a name for this show. So if you have some recommendations too, send them there, news@washingtoninformer.com. Until then, I think it's going to be a beautiful weekend. So enjoy it. Have a very productive week and stay safe. We'll see you next Friday.